Hey, how's it going, everybody? I'm out here in the yard today. Wind's blowing, so it's a good day to film, right? Yeah. So, but I'm out here in the yard, in the garden, and we're just doing some work. It's getting late in the year, obviously. Leaves are falling, seasons are changing, but there's still work to be done. Gardening's not over, right? So, show you what we got. Here's the garden, void. Here's the garden void of plants, right? This is where the tomatoes and peppers were at, and the beans right here to the left. Peas are still down there, you can see them growing. We're trying our best to get something out of them, but you got weeds, leaves, some bedding from the chickens right here. And the soil's great, but we're doing something else. Hear that rustling? Yeah. Throwing some leaves in here, right? Okay, so just to show you what we're doing here. We've got some leaves in the yard because we've got a ton of trees right up here. See them? A ton of trees up here. This is west right here, so they all fall this way, right? And there's two massive trees right here. They all lost their leaves. They've all lost their leaves, so we got leaves on the ground. But why are you picking up leaves in the wind, right? But it's okay. So we got leaves all over the place here. You gotta clean them up. I raked some of them up last night. See, raked all this up last night, piled them up a little bit. I've already been working on this pile that was going around over here. But you can't really use a leaf blower and in the wind. It doesn't do any good. So I'm taking a rake. And normally I would do this with a tarp. I would just rake all the leaves onto a tarp, but the wind gusting to 30-40 miles per hour probably isn't gonna do too well on the tarp. So, boom. Got the old handy dandy dump cart here. So I'm just loading it up, putting them on the garden. See, the great thing is about these leaves is, see, a lot of people are gonna burn their leaves. I like you get out in suburbia and people take their leaves, put them in these cute little bags and throw them on the street for the garbage man to pick up. Hey man, use those dang leaves. Use them. It is God's way of giving you nitrogen for your garden. You can mulch them in your yard and improve the soil on your lawn, I guess. But for us, organic gardeners, it's gold for the garden. Okay, leaves. These leaves here are gonna break down, and they're gonna add nitrogen to the soil. They're gonna be as they decompose. It's gonna be great for to encourage worms in your ground. Last year, or this past season, I guess, when we started planting the taters, especially on one end of the garden, or I tell you what, no, it wasn't when we was planting them. It was when we was harvesting taters. We was harvesting these taters. We found massive worms in the ground because we've gardened organically, but we've added leaves and bedding into the dirt, and it's created better soil for our garden, and therefore you get more worms. Worms drop their poop. Okay, worm castings. That's what it is. It's worm poop. Okay, so worms get in there. They actually aerate the soil as they move through, and then they drop their poop. It's more nitrogen, builds better soil, richer soil, greater nutrient content for your garden, and turns out to be just a better garden in general. So I'm taking all these leaves I can, get them on the garden, because we got to get it ready to put a tarp on it this week before actually the weather warms back up. It's cool and windy today. It's going to warm back up this week. A lot of sun. At least that's what they say, right? And man, we'll get that silage tarp on the garden and heat it up and get that stuff breaking down. So I'm just going to take you and sit you down here as I do a couple of loads, okay? I'm going to take this load back over here. I'll spare you the boring details of me doing this 10,000 times. But, like I said, you can't really do a tarp load at a time in this wind. So, do what you can. But you gotta keep going. Can't waste your time. Today's a good day to get this done. I need to get that tarp on the ground this week. So I'm gonna come back in here and do this. One thing I just really want to encourage you to do is don't waste these leaves. If you don't have a garden, or if you don't want to, you know, take the time to do all that, I guess, don't be, I don't understand why you wouldn't. It's free fertilizer, man. This is God's design. God wants you to take these leaves and use them. That's amazing. That's what's amazing about this. This is how God designed things. He designed them to bring life from death. The leaves are dying out. Trees are going dormant for the season. If the leaves fall to the ground, over the winter time they decompose and they enrich the ground as they lay there all winter, preparing the soil for harvest next season. So I want to encourage you, as I dump these leaves out, I really want to encourage you here to not just use your leaves and to fertilize your garden or your raised beds. Fill in raised beds, compost them. You can chop them up with your mower, break them down. All that works great. You can use them for a lot of things, but I want to encourage you in this fall season that in your own life, if you're in a place where it feels dark, where things have died, you may feel dormant, like you're not producing anything, like nothing's good coming from your life, nothing positive's happened for you. First of all, give your life to Jesus if you haven't already. Trust in Jesus first. But then, if you are a Christian, if you already have a relationship with Jesus, don't give up right now. Things might seem dark. There may not be enough daylight. You know, you may not see any light in your life. Maybe you haven't produced fruit this year. Maybe it's been a tough one. Obviously, 2020, right? But I want to encourage you to prepare for harvest next season, because that's God's design. Is even when it's dark and cold, windy, less light, no fruit, you feel unproductive, prepare yourself in the dark season for harvest next season. Prepare yourself now. You know, nourish yourself now for harvest next season, because there's always a next season. You know, and if there's not, game over, then hey, you're home, right? If you're a Christian, then you're in heaven. But as long as you have breath of life, there's purpose. As long as you have breath, there's purpose, man. So take the time, man. If you're breathing, you have purpose. Come on. Take the time to prepare yourself for a harvest next season, because that's God's design. He wants to bring life from your death, beauty from ashes, right? But that's His design, is to bring life from death. And that's what He's done here with these leaves, is He gives life from death. With blood gives life from death. Just encourage you, prepare for harvest next season, even when things are dark. Okay. My name's Jason. This is Art of Creation Homestead. I love you guys. God bless you, and goodbye.